Hello, everybody.
Hello. Hey.
John was here just 2 seconds ago, and now he's popped out
He
again.
blipped out. Yep.
Yep. But we did find out why John did not show up last week. He thought he sent us an email. He was very, very sick. In fact, he was bedbound for a week. So we apologize for that. I apologize for him. Right, John?
Sorry about that, everybody. Yeah, I saw the note today. I was like, oh crap! I typed it in my fevered state and didn't hit send. So many apologies to everyone on that one.
Yeah,
so,
he just hallucinated the fact that he's
pretty much. I'm kind of like AI. I hallucinate all the time, I guess. It was nasty. Like from Saturday through Friday, I got out of bed, did some errands, met a friend for lunch, thought I'd be okay, and then that kicked my ass until Saturday. And then Sunday I had to pull myself together, and then started a new job Monday. So I had to be it's been very nice so far, and everybody's been fantastic. So I've been excited this week. But yeah, so I had to pull together all the germs and go away germs, But yeah, last week was awful. COVID didn't run as long. COVID was a little bit worse, but this thing was just dragged out. And now my wife's got 2 or 3 days behind me. So everybody, wash your hands.
Yes.
You don't know where they've been.
Yes.
Yeah, excuse my cough too. I've got a lingering
be careful
one.
what you eat on the road. I got food poisoning. Last week.
From your drive last week? Oh man.
I could still drive but boy, I was sick as a dog.
Yeah, Jim, take a lot of breaks on the drive.
No, it was fortunately when I acquired it, we were already close to our destination.
Oh, good.
So, but that first day, we went to Nashville, and they spent the day in Nashville, and I sat in the bus, napped the whole time. So yeah, and then went to the bathroom when I had to.
Now, Kaz is just back from France.
Yeah, it was nice. Nice.
Yeah, I'll bet.
It was primarily for work, so most of it was a work kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm sure you worked really hard.
I did. Actually, it was long days.
Okay, well, you got to play hard too, I guess.
But yeah, right? But I got to see some stuff too, so it was really interesting. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
I will be there in June.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah,
Paris, you go to Paris, right?
We're starting in Ireland and taking a train all around Ireland, and then jumping a ferry across to England, and then down to London, and we'll do a couple of day trips to Bath and Stonehenge, and then jump on the Eurostar and go to Paris. From Paris to Zurich, then from Zurich to Rome. And
yes, folks, you're in a travel log.
And Dick is super Catholic, so the whole thing started out with he wanted to go to the Vatican. And I built it from there. I'm like, well, if we're gonna go, we might as well do it right.
While we're there.
Yeah. I mean, if you go all that way, you need to make sure you see what everything you want to see. Yes.
Yeah, make it worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it took me about 2 years to work out. Don't you want to see Ireland, where your mom's from? Oh, finally, okay. Well, if you get to see Ireland, then I get to see half mine.
Oh, wow.
Right?
That's how you do it.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Put that one under the table.
Since we're taking the train for the whole trip, and the Eurostar goes right through Paris. I mean, come on. And then it goes through Zurich. So yeah, it just kind of snowballed, and he goes our short little trip turned into 2 weeks, but you only live
if you're going to be there anyway.
Yeah,
that's right.
Sounds like fun. Have fun.
Bucket list.
Definitely.
Bucket list.
Yep. Good for you.
Well, do we even bother introducing ourselves at this point?
I'm Kaz. Hi.
I'm John. I'm no longer contagious.
I'm Barb. Hello, everybody. I'm your hostess tonight. And we are going to discuss, for those of us who work full-time as an artist, what do you do on your downtime? Or like Kaz, what do you do on your downtime between gigs?
Writing gigs or creative gigs,
Yeah, the whole concept of becoming a professional artist really means that the concept of downtime is kind of a misnomer,
Mhm.
because you really don't have downtime. Not if you want to be successful. Obviously, the first thing I've always done when I get a break is I sleep for a whole day. This was especially true back in the good old days, the 90s. We always throw everything back to the 90s, but that was when I was working the most. And I was working 16 hours a day, 12 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, and raising kids and being a wife.
But you had one hell of a commute.
Yes, up my
That
stairs.
was the one plus, right? On schedules.
Yep. And the vehicle was your slippers.
That's right. That's right. But when I had downtime, I mean, for the first day, I would just crash because I maintained a 2-book-a-month schedule plus cards and covers and stuff like that. And that was a tough road to hoe. I was a lot younger then too. But I still managed to do a few things between assignments. And one of the things that I did was I signed up for an anatomy class, anatomy drawing, nudes at the local community college.
Live drawing, they call it.
Live drawing, that's right. I signed up for live drawing, and I took that once or twice a week for 6 weeks during one of my slower periods, so I could keep teaching.
That sharpens your skills, definitely. Working from real life definitely sharpens your drawing skills.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Now, when you have downtime or between assignments or whatever, or you're working towards getting more assignments, what is your first piece of advice, Kaz?
Well, for me, I have a curse, right? I'm trying to get out. They say your first 1,000 photos, right, are what you're going to go through before you ever have something good. So I'm trying to get through first 1,000 pages. So there's a curse, though, in that you have so many ideas as a writer. You spend so much time in the world building phase. I try and pick projects and transition from I have ideas to try and writing scripts, but again, that's a curse too, because you never think you're good enough. So you go back and you keep rewriting page 3 or you keep rewriting stuff.
Yeah.
So, gigs actually focus you because they give you a deadline, and I know I have to produce this thing at this time. But when you're in between projects like that and you're left to your own projects, having that same discipline is a little bit harder because you are the critic of your own stuff. So I just try and get out as many ideas as possible and then try and transition those ideas into an actual script. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm actually starting this 30-day focus thing that I've tried to map out my next 30 days and how I'll do projects and what 90 minutes I'll spend writing this particular script.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. Yeah. For the next 30 days or so. And then hopefully this will advance another project I'm working on for Silverline. So this will be good too. So.
Do you think you work better under pressure?
I think I work better with clear and concise. Just the nature of my career, that I deal with deadlines a lot, and I deal with kind of producing a result over a given time and managing those projects in between that deadline. So it's not that I work better, it's just everything is clear, right? And when I understand who the stakeholder is that will judge a thing, I understand the level at which I need to produce the thing for that particular stakeholder. When the stakeholder is me, that's where, it gets a little bit more ambiguous because I am my own worst critic. So I'll go, okay, I think Rob said before in one of our early streams a long time ago, sometimes you got to learn to let it go, right?
Yeah.
And that's a hard lesson when you're
I was about to say the hardest part to learn as a creative is to know when to stop.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, as an artist, after you've rubbed a hole in the paper erasing, that's when you stop.
Yeah.
But that's, and Jack Kirby had a saying is just good enough. You get it to a good enough state. Of course, his good enough was miles above my struggling my butt off. But yeah, but that's the hardest thing to learn is to know when you've done enough, when you've gotten to the point where it's good enough to pass it off and go on to the next page. Sometimes you're not 100% satisfied with it.
Yeah.
But there's a point at which if you're working on a deadline or you're working on, you've got other people waiting, you've got an inker waiting for you, and you've got a letterer waiting for this work, then you have to go, okay, at this point, I have to pass it along. Otherwise, I'm just going to work it to death. And that's part of it too, is there's a point at which there's a point where it goes over the hill and it's no longer improving it, it's now making it worse.
Diminishing
So
return.
you have to learn where that is. So if you can stop just before the top of the hill, then that's the best thing.
The other thing I like.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that was it.
The other thing I like about being in between, what I'm doing right now is I'm really focusing on what my favorite comic dialogue is. So I had to pull back out 2 books that I really, really, really love to try and improve that. That's the focus.
And analyze it for
Study.
Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah.
So I pulled out Savage Avengers again. Oh God, Dine with Doom. I love that. And then when Conan and Doom are, that dialogue is a chef's kiss. And then Last Ronin. I actually really, really like the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Well, I don't know that it's.
I was shocked when I found out who that was.
Yeah. So I'm really studying.
I read that one too. I thought it was very good.
Yeah. So that's me. I know, long-winded. Sorry.
No. That's good.
We're trying to fill an hour, Cass.
All right. Yeah.
John,
Well,
what do you do between times to keep yourself sharp or learn new skills?
I've been on hiatus for a while, life got in the way. So I've had more between time than active time, recently. Mm-hmm. But what I can tell you is there isn't a day that goes by that things aren't playing in my head. Mm-hmm. There's movies that are repeating where I'm like, I need to capture this down eventually. Mm-hmm. But it's replayed in my head so much, it's almost like it is a memory at this point, from reality, even though it's not. But it's like I know what I want it to look like. I know, these hits, these beats. Similar, to Rob, something you said. I heard once, and again, I'm not an artist. I write, I letter, I edit, self-published. We'll talk about that in a minute. But with art, and it would also go along with writing as well. No piece or no project is ever done. It's when it's abandoned. It's like, abandoned, like moved on to the inker or moved to the publishing house or sent to our friends at Kablam and now print me up 1,000 copies, baby. It's like, that's where it's, I'm no longer going to meddle with it until, you make a lot of money like George Lucas and then you F up the whole trilogy. Sorry, not a big fan of the special editions. But one of the problems I had when I was self-publishing, I would noodle with things incessantly because it literally was my money that I was putting behind it. So, these days we've got Kickstarter, we've got other platforms for crowdfunding. We have wonderful head honchos like Roland that take a bunch of us in and said, hey, let's make some books together, But when you're writing a check to the artists out of your measly little teacher paycheck and you're driving your ass up to Canada because the printing up there was cheaper than in Illinois, and writing back in the day, Preeny, Print, Litho, the same people who did Cerebus. You know, if they were good enough to print for Dave Sim, they were good enough to print for me. You know, it's like I'm standing with giants here. You know, when I'm driving up there and buying 2,000 copies, and granted it was 960, but like in $2,003, you know, that's a lot of money. You know, so the financial part was one of the things where I really had to make sure that I was happy with the final product, because, you know, some people, you know, gamble their money away. Some people drink their money away. Some people their money away. I printed comic books, you know, and that's not so
Some
bad.
people comic book their money away. Yeah.
There you go. And, you know, of all the vices, that's the one I would gladly pick any day of the week.
Yeah.
But still, you know, that's a huge investment, you know, like, you know, $2,000 a book easily back in the day, you know, when you're making 30,000 a year, it's like that's a lot of money.
That's a lot.
So that was one of the things that kind of always held me back. On here, you know, of course, Ripper is like my second best known upcoming title. I've got a Sniper and Rook crossover with Ripper story that has been percolating in my head literally for decades. And there's one scene that is like the key scene that I've not been able to find the perfect references for, that I've not been able to describe to any of the artists I've wanted to have work on it perfectly yet. And until I can get like this one double page spread with this one scene perfect, I know I'm not going to be able to move forward. And that sucks, because that one's been like blocking me. And sometimes I'll take a walk, you know, through the city, or, you know, a couple different cities I've, you know, visited. I was like, that's kind of what I'm looking for. And, you know, I pull out the phone, try to take things from every angle. So like a little bit of and I have OCD, you know, so a little bit of the OCD holds me back from some of those things too, to be completely honest. What do I do in the meantime? For me, it's just life. You know, that's when I'm a, you know, educator.
Catch up on things that you've had to set aside.
That's when I'm a father. That's when I'm a husband. You know, that's when I was a son. When I'm, you know, my folks were still here. You know, that's when real life took over, and I had to put the comic stuff aside. But, you know, time will be coming back for the comic stuff now. My kiddo is going to be 21 at the end of the month. I'm going to be 53 this weekend. I feel old.
Oh, come on, you baby.
Oh, whatever. You don't look a day over 47, Miss. I've been thinking for decades.
You're
Okay.
a baby. You're a baby.
So,
I'll be 72 this summer.
No
my God.
Yeah, it explains why you're so ornery, but no way.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
Rob. Seriously, I
earned this gray hair.
He's the same age as hubby, my hubby.
When you were pointing at Kaz, I'm like, Kaz ain't that old.
No, he's the same age as my hubby.
So that's cool. That's cool. And that stuff keeps you young too, obviously. You know.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just got done with a show, and that's another thing that I try to schedule more of when I've got downtime. I try to schedule more shows, because like you, John, I use the income that I make on the shows to pay my talent.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of necessary to go to these shows. I try to get in at least once a month, and if I have downtime, there's all kinds of shows I can tap into that I can go, including library shows and stuff like that. So I'll try to schedule some more of those. And like you said, it keeps you young. When I tell people how old I am, they're like, no way. Because my favorite story is like, do you do sketches? And I was like, I don't draw physically anymore, because I'm old, and I have a little bit of a wobble in my hand. I says I took up digital art when I turned 60, and that was 7 years ago. I'm like, no way. I'm like, yeah, what comics keeps me young? You know,
I had a question for you on that, Barb.
Yeah.
When you were talking about like what do people do, but you know, on downtime and between gigs and stuff. Since you all have this awesome travel coming up, and you will be on a train, and there's going to be lots of stuff to see, but there's also going to be some downtime on the, you know, trains as well, I'm sure too. Are you planning on taking your tablet? Are you going to be drawing while you're away, do you think?
No.
Not at all?
No, because I
Not even
put
for fun?
$1,200 into that tablet. I'm not putting it into my luggage. I'm not taking it across the sea.
Mm,
Fair.
I
Yeah.
protect that thing with my life
mhm.
Fair.
because I don't
And
have enough
it's
money to replace it.
plus if you put it in your baggage under and those have
Oh.
got lithium ion batteries.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know what in the atmosphere sets them off, but I ain't taking no chance.
I've got
Mm.
2
With it
iPads
going
actually.
off,
I'll be
yeah.
taking this one with me, but this one's got a crack across the screen, so I just use it for reading and stuff. I
Stylistic and gonna work.
can't do
Yeah.
I can't do art with it because it's got a big blind spot in it when I try to do art. So I will take that one because
But you're
that was
actually
my
taking a full break from the art part too.
Yep.
Wow.
I will be. And I've been working hard on Divinity, so I'll be ready for a break. But speaking of the iPads, one of the things that I do now, way when I was younger, I used to brush up. I tried to brush up on my anatomy skills or perspective skills
Yep.
during breaks.
Yep.
But what I try to do now is I try to learn more digital tricks because like
Learn
I
how to
just said,
use your
I
programs,
I didn't go digital until I turned 60, and I was an old dog. It is really hard to learn new tricks,
Mhm.
and I'm still learning all kinds of new things on my on Procreate and new shortcuts and new ways to do special
and
effects.
you can get out there and look for different brushes to use in there, and
And I just
there's
downloaded a
stuff.
bunch of anime brushes because
Ooh, yeah.
I have a new project, a new trading card project.
Okay, yay!
Yay! And it's going to be in an anime style. So I, more brushes, learn how to make my own brushes. I go to the University of YouTube and I take tutorials on learning how, better to color, how to create my own brushes, shortcuts, little tricks on creating special effects. That's what I go do now to try to improve my skills because I've spent 30 some years doing the perspective and the anatomy and this and that. But I still need to learn that. So I'm constantly learning something new all the time. I made a bunch of notes. Something that a lot of people do during their downtime is they work on non-project work. Is that something that you do, Kaz? Is something completely away from comics?
Yeah, in a sense, yes. So I also, a while ago, I got a degree in business intelligence. So just putting together different visualizations based on data is something I like to do too. So I actually did something for Silverline where I tried to bring in all the issues and make a map that has locations on it so you can see where they took place and trying to merge timelines and see when an appearance of the villain came in and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, I enjoy doing that sort of thing too. I just wanted to be a storyteller, so I wanted to learn how to tell stories with data, wanted to learn how to tell stories visually, like more artistically. So I like to work on that stuff too on the side, which is nerdy and weird, but I like that.
John, do you do any non-comics writing between?
Not for a while.
But
For a
you used
while. Yeah, some fan fiction like type stuff, just for shits and giggles for myself. One of my favorite ones, and this goes like way back to like my college days, so it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But it was this where I thought I was going to be so cool and so inventive. I created Lady Deadpool before anybody did. Basically, it was a story where a girl on another planet visited her grandfather and went up to the attic and found a storage unit, up there that had 2 uniforms. He was both Boba Fett and Deadpool. So the one bounty hunter that never shut up and the one bounty hunter that ever talked and that barely ever talked, and she like donned both and went on little adventures, so that one was fun. But yeah, so kind of just doing like little short stories or little ideas. I've got one that I've been working on over the summer a little bit, between the day jobs, because I had that little bit of, we'll call it extended vacation time, so I had these few months of extended vacation time, writing a story for myself featuring a Marvel character, because it's never been told and I need to know how this thing happened, and it's never been explained. So I'm like, shit, I'll just write it myself. So once I get more traction on that one, I've got the opening, the setting, first couple pages.
So who knows? Kind of fan fiction for yourself.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
So it's for fun. It's for yourself.
Exactly.
I've got a dozen fan fictions floating around out there somewhere. I've done over the last 30 years, which is not very many for 30 years, but
Well, it's like you were only like inking 2 books a month, and being a wife and a mom, and so you only have like so many out there. I think you're still very.
Well, the thing is, I was an artist, so that is really taking a break from art to write
with writing, yeah.
And because I didn't really actually start professionally writing until
it's a different creative muscle. It's a different creative muscle.
I was exercising my writing muscle in between doing physical art.
What was your favorite fanfic that you did?
No, I'm not telling.
Why?
I've got a couple of Avengers ones out there.
Okay.
I've got one supernatural.
Cool.
I can't remember the others, but yeah, something like that.
Nice, very cool.
Hawaii Five-0. I got one on Hawaii Five-0.
Oh,
the original or the reboot?
The reboot, and it was a parody. I did. It was a very, very. Actually, it got a lot of traction as a parody.
Magazine, like a Mad Magazine parody. Okay.
Yes, I actually tried my hand at parody, and it went very well. Cool. So, that was different. How about you, Rob? Any non-comic stuff that you've done?
Reading books, but I haven't had much time for that lately. Although being illustrator of books for Airship 27, I end up reading books that way. I read the book that I'm illustrating. But one of the things I do to keep the creative bug going is I have this hardback sketchbook. So between projects, and this is the only one in this that I can actually show. The rest of them are a little more, a little racier.
A little wow.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so nice. That's one. That's one of my notes here. Sketching a sketchbook.
I am a deep admirer of the female form, and I seldom get to do in my projects anything on that order. So I get reference out. I look for reference, and then when I do have a couple of minutes, I will put one of those together. So I'm building this little sketchbook full of that sort of stuff. So
right, and you don't like in doing comic book work, you don't get to do a lot of shading stuff either.
No, and I've got a special project idea that I want to try, and that's using. I haven't done it yet, but that's using pencils that are different colors, like a yellow one. And a blue one and a red one, and using lines and cross hatching over them to create other colors. Mm-hmm. So that's a project I want to try at some point. I've got the mechanical pencils with the kind of waxy lead in them that I want to try that. I haven't done it yet, and I'm thinking that might be some of the pieces in that. I'll try to do some of the pieces in that hardback book that I just showed. Doing that sort of thing.
That sounds pretty cool.
And a lot of time now, back in the days when I was actually working on books, comic books, on deadline. And I would have a gig where I'd have so many issues of a book to do, and then I'd have an empty spot. Well, in the meantime, I would be putting together. I'd be drawing extra pages for submission to another publisher. I'd find one of their characters I wanted to work on, and I would do 2 or 3 pages of work on that and send that off to them to try and sell myself to do another gig. So there was that sort of stuff in between.
That was one of my talking points. Build your portfolio.
Yeah, that's essentially what I was doing, is building the portfolio. And when you are a comic book artist and you want put together a portfolio of stuff, but when you're trying to get with a particular publisher, and I see people doing this all the time, they'll just send the regular stuff that they do. They won't focus in on what that publisher does already. So you're not selling yourself to them. You're just showing them what you've done before. Well, they want to see what you can do on their characters or their stories. So find out what they're doing and put together a couple of sample pages of that sort of stuff for them, and then show them your other stuff as well. But you should always have real people doing real things, as well as the superheroes. If you're doing superhero books, slugging each other and doing all the fancy stuff. But you should. Most editors, at least back in the day, I don't know if they still are or not, probably are looking for people who can draw real people doing real things, because not
the more
every panel
mundane,
is going to,
quote unquote.
not every panel is going to be with a fist in the face like that. There's going to be some in between. You've got to have some quiet time in the story as well. So you need to be able to render those pages as well, and that's tougher. You have to reference what you're doing. You have to, it's a little tougher. You have to unless you've got a photographic memory, which some artists do, then you'll need reference for those things. Now, back in the day before Google, I had a drawer in a file cabinet full of all magazine covers, advertisements and pictures and stuff that I had categorized in there. And I had a whole thing of horses, I had a whole thing of, just all sorts of things, exotic locales, cityscapes, just all kinds of stuff like that. Now I can just Google it and find it online. If I need to, I can print it out. But yeah, so but that's a lot of the stuff that you do in between. Plus, you find, hanging out with your family, going on vacation with your family, and being something besides this machine at the drawing board or at the typewriter all the time. You're a better creator if you actually got a real life going on besides just sitting at the drawing board or the flickering screen.
Going back to something Kaz said earlier, one of my talking points was also doing visual analysis, analyze, trace, annotate comic pages from artists you admire to understand their storytelling, their layouts, using exercises to break down a story into panel descriptions, one sentence per page to speed up your scripting and layout process. Those are exercises that you can do to help yourself out. And you can work on your strategic project management. You build a buffer. Work ahead on projects that you're going to be working on, or work on your website. Clean and organize your studio. Oh my God!
I could turn this around the other way, and you'd see that hasn't been done in this room for a while.
Why do you think I have this blurred behind me?
Yeah, I know. I have. I look. There's parts of it that look like a hoarder lives in this room. And other parts of it are fair, but I know where everything is.
Yeah. So. Mine kind of looks like a half cross between a sewing room, an art studio, and an eBay warehouse at the moment, because I'm selling some stuff for my dad who doesn't own a computer. Also, you can plan future projects.
Mhm.
You can work on a mini comic, you know, plan a little comic and sketch it out or write it out for a future project, possibly. Do you have a lot of stuff in the works, Kaz and John?
Oh, I think that's the curse. I mean, to me, I think that's the curse of being a writer. Like, you have so many ideas, and so you're just trying to capture them so you don't lose them, right? Like, because you know you can't work on that one right away. So I spend a lot of time just jotting down. It may be a scene. That's all I'm seeing is this, like, sort of like John mentioned, you see this one scene over and over. Maybe you listen to this music and you can just see this thing over and over. So you have a whole bunch of different ideas, but the problem is a lot of those are incomplete. So you spend a lot of time just trying to organize, try not to lose
Trying to
this.
fill in the gaps.
Yeah,
Trying to
try and
fill in the
capture
gaps.
this. When do I work on that? Oh, I don't want to abandon this, but I really want to work on this over here.
Whips. You got
So,
whips.
yeah, it's
Work in process.
it feels like a curse almost though, because
Mhm.
it would be great if you could just have one idea and just focus on it to the very end and not let other ideas interfere. But sometimes you're writing something and you're like, man, this is the wrong story. I need to write I need to write about this other character that I made.
That,
You know,
that other
instead of
character's over there going, hey,
right.
hey, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Come and talk with me for a while.
So there's always things to me. I feel like there's always things to write. I may not write it well though. That's the thing. There's
Well, even
always
just jotting down notes. I mean, when
Yeah.
I first start a story, I will have like one or two word sentences, and then I'll have a whole paragraph that's like totally fleshed out, and then, you know, scribble a few things here, and then another paragraph, or just a sentence that I want to use somewhere.
Mhm.
You know, this is an
Sometimes
awesome sentence. I have to put it here somewhere.
and sometimes you don't even know how the thing is going to work out. You just know so and so is going to do this. Like, you built this thing, and then you're just like, oh yeah, and then they're going to do this, and then focus on the next big thing. And you're like, I'll come back to that and figure out how to flesh that thing out. But it's so
Yeah,
there's
in one
always
of my
things. Yeah.
in one of my divinity scripts, and this is way down the road, that I've already got sketched or like plotted out. I have pages 14 through 16. Fight.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure out what that looks like.
Yeah.
We're gonna fight for 3 pages. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Sometimes it's so funny. It's fun though. It's really fun. Yeah.
John?
There's something addicting about creating comic books too.
Mhm.
And because you can create it's like making a movie on paper.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, you're unlimited. You have an unlimited budget. You know, you could write about anything. That's why comics are so, for some of us, just drag us in. This is what I want to do. I can't do, you know, I got to do other stuff, but I always got to come back to this. So yeah.
And it's complex too, because you got to pick what is the panel that tells that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have the
move
room.
the camera around in my head, you know, to get the right angle.
What is the panel?
And in your case, which aspect of the what do you tell? Which aspect of this particular action are we gonna? Am I gonna focus on as a writer?
It matters.
Yeah. It does. Yes. And especially if you're trying to emphasize a certain thing throughout the whole story, there's little pieces that you want to insert foreshadowing or pay off a former foreshadowing and all this stuff. I mean, I can think of how all that works, but I'm not a writer. I can't. My stuff's linear. It's I can write nonfiction to save my soul, but fortunately, I have plenty of writers, and they give me stuff, and I can interpret what they've done. I'm really good at that, but I'm not as good at coming up with and writing good stories myself. I know how it works, but it doesn't gel with me like drawing does.
John, Do you have like notebooks full of ideas or folders on your computer full of ideas?
You know, I wish I was that organized because
All right, post-it notes then.
I honestly cannot tell you how many hundreds of USB drives, SD cards, what's it called? Internal hard drives I put in enclosures, regular portables. I don't even know where all my shit is anymore. I had so like Sniper and Rook's got like their main foes, Sight and Scope. I wrote in, now would be the perfect time to publish it too, because Sight and Scope got their origin was based in the Iranian hostage crisis of the 70s.
Oh,
now that's hot topic again, so I was like, ooh, that'd be good. I wrote this thing years ago, don't know where that file went. Like I was working on it on that computer and I cannot find this thing to save my life. It was
you don't know how to search for it.
One
you
shot.
Don't know how to search for it.
Well, now I know how to search, but it's nowhere. And I taught computers for years, so like I'm not one of those. I don't know where it is.
When you're looking for something else, you'll find it.
It's probably on some thumb drive in the back of your underwear drawer or something,
that assumes I wear underwear now. But that
you still got a drawer.
It's driving me crazy because it was probably like a 32 or 46 page, epic story. And it was perfect. I really loved how
that much of it written too.
That hurt.
And page by page, panel by panel, panel one, panel two, layout suggestions. It was just ready to hand to my artist.
When I left.
Don't know where it is.
A portfolio full of original art at a show. And never got it back.
And now now that you're mentioning that, there is another one that there was another book that I was going to write. It was going to be a parody. It would have people who would understand the title would either love it or hate it because it would have some ties into politics. I completely forgot about that title that I was going to write. So maybe I should look at that one too. So I'm writing myself a note. Maybe I'll not
post it.
Yeah, I'm writing on the back of my checkbook. So I'll read that too.
Okay, there you go.
All right. Third talking point: what to do between gigs, rest, and mental health.
Yeah,
that's a biggie. Take an active rest. Leave the house. Go for a walk. Or engage in sensory activities like gardening. Anything but sitting in front of a piece of paper or a screen. And I garden. In the wintertime, it's a little bit harder for me to find my sensory stuff. I play brain games on my computer, but then again, I'm sitting in front of a screen. So right now, in the last couple of weeks, I've been putting pegboard up in my washroom and painting. So, I do that. Yeah. Find a project to do. Yeah.
And don't feel guilty about, I think, different people are in different stages of their life. And I know for me, a struggle that I have is if I'm not doing the thing, am I lazy, procrastinating, when you don't feel ashamed to take a break and actually schedule time away. And that's a good thing. Like, don't view it as, well, then you're not working as hard as everybody else. You suck. What I mean?
As the youngsters like to say, go out and touch some grass.
Yeah, and it's a real thing. It's a real psychological thing that some people like myself struggle through. You do not feel ashamed. That will make you better when you take that break. You're not leaving it complete. Just take a weekend.
Yeah, after I've taken a break of a day or two from drawing, I come back and it's easier. Mm-hmm. It's weird. Mm-hmm. Things come easier because you've let your subconscious, dwell on whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You're not consciously thinking of it. It's in the back of your mind instead of in the front. And and of course, as an artist, you've got that muscle memory, so you've got that going. But then, taking a break is actually good for creative.
Go to a museum.
Go to a movie.
Go get inspired, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or read somebody else's comics, or read a book, because it's completely different from what you are doing, and it might just stir up some creative juices.
Yeah, it'll inspire you. Yeah. How would you write that? How would you see that? If you read a book, how would you visualize that? Like on a page, like what would that look like? And man, the way they describe that is so cool. How would
not every book can be translated into a comic book, though.
Nope.
I discovered that. I tried it one time. I tried I grabbed a friend of mine's writing, and I went, let me see if I can turn this into a comic book page.
It's hard. Yeah.
For the life of me, I could not. It was what he wrote was very descriptive and interesting to read and all that, but I could not turn it into something visual. It was not a visual. It was a cerebral thing. So it was in your head.
Just the puzzle you trying, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The worst for me is when you try and translate a sound. Like there are certain sounds that I really love. And I'm like, man, I don't know how to describe that though. Like, how would I get
right.
What sound effect would I don't even know what sound like. I would write. But how do you turn that sound into letters, vowels and consonants? Yeah. But the fun part is thinking of it. The fun part is just trying to reason it out, even if you don't get it. Just
it's a creative exercise, definitely.
Yeah.
How about you, John? What do you do to get? Do you go see movies?
Yeah, I was like, I'm trying to think, like the whole culturalization kind of would be kind of falling really into, like movies. I haven't like read a book for fun in years. I've tried to do some of the audiobooks, but it kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like easing back into comfort foods. Mm-hmm. So it's like there are some movies, especially that I consider part of my DNA. And those are like on a list that I call defining films. Like, these are all part of my DNA. And I was sitting down here over the weekend. Amy was upstairs sick. I figured I'd leave her alone for a while. The kid was asleep. I think I was paying some bills too. And I'm like, I wonder if I could find Night of the Comet streaming anywhere. Because I haven't watched that in years. And if you've never seen that, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. I've got a ton of favorite movies of all time. But reconnecting with some of those different films, they're across the different genres, where I find something inspiring about them. Where, I love a lot of the B films, not necessarily stuff that's going to be, Hollywood.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, what's that?
The blob that ate Pittsburgh?
No.
Like DEFCON 4, Red Dawn. Yeah.
What's that?
DEFCON 4 or Red Dawn. Like
I'm thinking even more like B than that. There's one that I love.
Almost sea level, huh?
It comes out of Canada, eh? And was that all about? There's one that's called Foolproof, which is a guy, his friend, a guy, a girl, and another guy, and they plan like the perfect robberies. And it's kind of like, it's just strategy for them, almost like a D&D type of thing, except for somebody gets their hands on one of the bank jobs and is now blackmailing them to pull it off, and that was Ryan Reynolds before he was anything big.
Wow. Okay.
So so that was straight out of Canada. There's one called Buying the Cow, which like nobody has ever heard of, and it's about buy the cow if you could get the milk for free. But the lineup on this one, it's got Jerry O'Connell. It has Bridget Wilson, the teacher from Billy Madison. His girlfriend in there. Alyssa Milano. And again, this guy that nobody ever heard about, that nobody gave a shit about, named Ryan Reynolds. So, I love the old school Ryan stuff. There's one that I absolutely love, called Stark Raving Mad, not the TV show. This one's features Sean William Scott, that most people know for as Stifler from the American Pie films. But very like that one also is like a break-in heist film, but very wonky with some very like weird characters. And Lou Diamond Phillips, his look in here is like the main bad guy. If you remember, Tom Cruise had a movie called Collateral where he had like the white hair. Yeah, he stole that look from Lou Diamond Phillips in this, Stark Raving Mad. So they're you can tell I'm kind of like jazzed, right? It's like these feels for like these types of movies is not what you're gonna go find like at AMC today, but like if there was a Sniper and Rook film, I would want it to feel like one of these. Now I'm actually like excited. I got goosebumps. How dare you guys make me happy about something? I'm supposed to be dour. Oh my God, I said dour. Nobody ever says dour anymore. But yeah, so that's some of the stuff I kind of lean into, Barb. It's like my comfort foods.
Comfort food only in movies.
Comfort foods and multimedia. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a really good idea.
Movies.
I go back and watch Star Wars and Star Trek.
Oh, the Holy Trilogy.
And Lord of the Ring.
I need to do that. I need to watch Lord of the Rings. I'm really getting kind of itchy to watch that again.
I watch cheesy kung fu movies with the English dub. That is a part of my DNA.
Okay.
I love them all.
There is nothing wrong with that.
I love them.
Not a thing.
I assume, like, and granted, this is a newer one. Granted, it's 20-some years old now. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Dragon, of course.
I had no clue.
That's new, though.
I had no clue that thing was going to be subtitled. I went to the theater.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this? And I'm like, the whole movie's subtitled. I'm like,
I can see too. If you used to like the 80s one with the English dub, and then you go see that, and you're like, what the heck?
And Chow Yun Fat, I love Chow Yun Fat. Let's put Replacement Killers also on the list of like my all-time favorite films. That are DNA worthy.
Haven't heard of that one. Haven't heard of that one.
Yeah. But Crouching Tiger. Oh my God, yeah. The jumping from tree to tree scene. Oh my God, yeah.
But that's new. I'm talking 1979, 1980. Between 1978 and maybe 85. That's when you had like this golden time,
like Street Fighter and Sister of Street Fighter and all them.
All that Sonny Chiba, those were good, but I'm talking about like Master Killer and Three Evil Masters and like the old stuff. It's just so good. That's my comfort food. That's my comfort mode.
Now I want to watch. Not that it's like the martial arts, but now that we're talking about like the whole Chow Yun Fat and all martial arts got me there. Now I want to watch like Hard Boiled. I want to watch a whole bunch of like John Woo films.
Yeah, John Woo. Yeah, he was the thing. Yeah, Sweetheart, John Woo.
Big Trouble in Little China.
I love it.
I've never seen that.
I don't think I've seen that.
No, I haven't.
How dare you, John?
For shame.
Jane, you have to watch that. That is like
Bad
a rite of passage. Oh my God.
I will have to see where I can stream that. Although, and if I like it, then I'll buy the disc because I much prefer physical media than streaming because everything goes away.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
It's great.
All right,
watch the commentary too. The commentary is amazing. So
okay.
The last talking point is if you are in between gigs and you feel burnt out, how can you rejuvenate yourself? And the first thing that people talk about if you're burnt out is the 15-minute rule. And that's, you set a timer for 15 minutes and you either write or draw for 15 minutes. And if the timer goes off and
stream of consciousness.
Yeah. And if the timer goes off after 15 minutes, you're still feeling burnt out, then walk away and then come back to do another 15 minutes at a later date. But usually you will start to get into the groove again. And another trick is to make a list of all the tasks that you need to do. And in order of difficulty. And you start with the easiest one and just knock it off the list.
See, that would terrify me. That would overwhelm me. where I'd be like, oh shit,
that's a
I
good
can't
time
do all
management.
this.
That's
I
a
just
good
go get
time
ice cream
management.
instead.
That's a good time management thing, is to put together a to-do list. I learned when I worked in an office that the last thing I did at the end of the day was make out a to-do list for the next day, and put everything that needed to get done the next day. And then, and I actually had a special piece of paper that I created, and when I would finish one, I'd check it off, check it off, check it off. And when you look at the list, or
You
when
feel
you think about
accomplished.
what you've got to do the next day, you go, there's no way I could get all that done. And then the next day you get down to the bottom of the list and you still got like an hour left at work, and you're going, oh crap, now I got to pretend like I'm working. So, but because if you've got something that you can check off, okay, I've finished that, gosh, now I can move on to the next thing. It's very, very powerful. Very
And
powerful.
the to-do list can be simple things to get you out of your rut, your burnout. A list could include create a new character, and the next to-do thing is write a funny paragraph. Things like that, and you check them off as you go, and at the end you feel accomplished, like you've done something.
Well, and you've got that piece of paper to look at and go, oh, I got check marks on there. I've done something. So yeah.
Well, and it helps you not get lost. I'm a big OneNote fan, so I like to write the task list in there.
I do. I've got a whiteboard back there behind me with with a to-do list on it.
Especially for minds like mine, where you start to just grow and the scope creep starts getting out all over the place. You come back to that list and go, oh, but I need to do this. And so it's really
that's
good.
your need to. That's your need to must do list. Yes.
Yeah.
Got to get this done today. These are the items I must do. Now I can get other things done, but these are the ones that have to be finished today. Yep.
And the greatest part is, life is about steps, right? So even if I had 10 things, but I did 6, I know I did the 6. Like, sometimes when you don't have the task list, you don't know it's so weird. You would just babble about what you did, right? But when you have that kind of checklist, okay, no, I didn't get a full character flushed out, but I did write pages 1 through 3. And I did do this, and I did do this, and I did do this. And I can reschedule those 4 things I didn't do, So I don't know. I think it's a very, like you guys are saying, I think they're very powerful tools when you use.
Absolutely.
Kaz, the nonverbals, like when you said about like the 3 things you didn't do when you moved your arms, can you do that again?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know what I did. That was just...
It's like Thriller. I was like, Kaz is doing Thriller. All right.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It can the tasks can be as simple as figure out the backstory on character X, or or does character X have relatives? Stuff like that. Little tiny little tasks, but they will help you still. It will get you motivated. And as far as drawing is concerned, if you're really burnt out on drawing, you can you could either fold a piece of paper or make a grid on a piece of paper and just doodle in those little boxes, and free thinking doodles.
What I usually do is get out a pencil on a blank piece of paper and just randomly make the shape, and I go, okay, what can I turn that into?
Oh, I've seen.
Yeah, I like doing that to get the juices flowing again. You just, you don't even think about it. You just kind of randomly, do a squiggle on the page, and then you try and turn that into a face, or just try and turn it into something. And sometimes it's just a weird doodle. You try and do something really abstract with it. But yeah, it gets your creative stuff going. So,
well, you guys are going to have to get your creative juices going for the April Fool's Day podcast, because I'm going to come up with some ridiculous scenarios for some of our favorite comic book characters.
And before then, y'all better get your butts ready for 90s trivia.
I saw trivia.
I'm going to be inviting all of Silverline. So
that's good. I'll be in Iowa, but I will still tune in, but it'll be on a phone.
Good. I've been building this PowerPoint for like 2 months now. So
Oh my god.
Hopefully it'll be a whole heck of a lot of fun. So that's what I'm really hoping for.
It will be.
Well, thank you for joining me tonight. I think we did a good job of figuring out things to do. Build your portfolio.
Too far off topic.
No, build your portfolio, folks. That's a biggie, and send samples out to people. But I think we did a real good job of covering things to do in your downtime, because that's important too. It isn't always just about
some downtime.
Yeah,
just making some downtime, because you need
go to
to do
Disney
that
World
occasionally, because you're just going to burn yourself out if you don't work in some downtime into what you're doing. Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight. And as we like to say at the end of all of our podcasts on Wednesday Wham, make mine Silverline.
Hey, this is Paul Pelletier. Make mine Silverline. Is that okay, Roland?